Roberto Cavalli opened its doors in 1972. He's an Italian fashion designer. He has many fragrances and some great fashion. He celebrates this occasion 50 years of Cavalli with a fragrance called Roberto Cavalli Uomo, and it's in gold. Join me on this scent trail discovering Roberto Cavalli's 50-year edition. Currently, there are 5 fragrances in the Roberto Cavalli lineup for men, including the gold. I did make a video on the other 4 recently. I will link it in the top for you or in the description if you want to check that video out. There are some really nice fragrances in that as well. It took me quite a while to hunt down this particular fragrance. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, that it came out as an anniversary edition and it was swooped up just like that by everybody. Some of the fragrances by Roberto Cavalli are really coveted and they're kind of harder to find. And this one joined the ranks of that really quite quickly. So I had to go all the way to Europe and find somebody in Europe that was selling their bottle. It was still wrapped all the way and it is authentic. I did check all that. However, I did pay like $150 US for this fragrance. If you bought this fragrance at regular retail, then I certainly do envy you. So I did pay $150 for it, so you and I could go on the scent trail together and discover what Roberto Cavalli was thinking for his 50-year edition. But before we get into the scent, let's look at the bottle real quick so you have an idea of which fragrance I'm talking about and what it looks like. Let's give this one a spray while we're at it. Fits really rather nicely. Let's see how it does. Yep, beautiful sprayer. The cap's not too heavy. It's on the lighter side. Could have made it just a little bit heavier. But this is your Roberto Cavalli Uomo 50-year edition. And of course you can see I touched a couple times and here we are already with a bunch of fingerprints on it. As most of the golden ones, they will really like just attract fingerprints. Let's see the back of it. I mean, look at that. You gotta constantly wipe this one down. And this is Roberto Cavalli Uomo 50-year edition 2021. The original Uomo debuted in 2016, I think it was. It was this black bottle right here. Then in 2017 we had Silver Essence, which is the silver bottle right here. I'm not gonna go too much into it. You need to watch that video if you want to. And then in 2018 we had La Notte, which is a blue bottle. I don't know if you can even see that right here. Yeah, there you go, a little bit. Blue bottle. And then in 2019, we had Deep Desire, which is a tan bottle. Really beautiful scent as well. Very nice. And then in 2021, 50 years later, we had the golden one. Now, I personally thought that this golden edition was going to be a little bit closer to the original and maybe add something like booze or oud or some leather. I mean, after all, this original fragrance is really beautiful and it had notes of violet, saffron, honey, lavender, tonka, cedar, and patchouli. That all sounds great. Imagine that with a little bit of oud or some leather, even booze or something like that. It's a beautiful scent and I personally really like this one. It's my favorite out of the line. Some people even say that this one reminds them of La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent or Tom Ford's Velvet Orchid. All I can say to that is how? How in the world are you guys getting this fragrance, Velvet Orchid, out of this one? I mean, I don't see the connections at all, but you know, everybody has their own nose. Anyway, the golden edition is going in a scent direction that I would not have imagined. It is quite different than I thought it would be. It does have the addition of leather though, like I said. However, it is not going to be very strong at all. The lavender and the violet are still in this fragrance. Also, the tonka bean is still going to be in here. They added a little bit of gurjon balsam, which gives it just a tad bit of spice. As I was wearing this one, I realized that there is a sort of sweet, sort of fruity note at the very top when you first spray this one. Now, it is not going to be candy-like, like string candy or cotton candy, as we say in America. It is not that sweet. It's more of a sweet, fruity note, something that you would find in fragrances, and it reminded me a little bit of them in the Azzaro Wanted and in the 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. although it's probably not going to be, or it's not quite as strong or noticeable as it would be in 1 Million or the Azzaro Wanted. This note does fade as time goes on, and what you'll have is a powdery sort of violet with that Gurjum balsam, which gives it just a little bit of a spice and a touch of leather. It's not very strong. It's by no means a leather fragrance. I think that this one, or I think like if you do the Stronger With You, where they added the leather in it, that's a much greater leather fragrance than this one is. This one is just going to have sort of a touch of leather in this fragrance. As far as wearability is concerned, this fragrance right here, I would probably wear this one. You could wear it all year round, actually. It lends itself. If you like a little bit of a sweeter violet, then you can wear this one around all year long. Now, I would probably not wear this one in the super hot days. It's going to be a little bit too heavy for that. Also, I find this one quite unisex, leaning a little bit to the masculine side. As far as longevity is concerned and protection on this fragrance right here, it actually lasts pretty long. Longevity is really good. Protection is not going to be as great though as you would think. And that's probably because this one right here is an eau de parfum concentration. All the other ones mentioned before, they're all eau de toilette. So this is an eau de parfum. It's naturally going to sit in a little bit closer, but it also is going to last quite a while. It is by no means going to be a protection beast though, like this one right here is. That's for sure. Now, I'm a little surprised that Cavalli made this one a limited release. I mean, I guess it makes sense from a perspective that it is, you know, a celebration fragrance. However, it did sell out quite quick, and you know, it's really hard to get already. I think, like I said, I paid $150 for this one and had to have it sent all across the world. I mean, it took weeks to get to me. That's why this review is a little bit on the later side. But if you can get your hands on this one, I think it's a really beautiful fragrance, and it's definitely worth it if you're a collector of the fragrances. Do you absolutely need this one in your, in your repertoire if you want to? It's okay. It did not make its way to the front for me and become my favorite out of the Cavalli line. It is not. But is it a good addition in sort of a mainstream kind of way? It is. Since it has that sort of violet and a little bit of leather and a little bit of sweetness, it's definitely a fragrance that many people are really going to love. For anybody out there who bought this one at retail, like I said at the beginning, I envy you, and you should be very happy that you were able to buy this one at a good price. But who knows, maybe they will run another batch of this one, and under $100, I think it's a really good pickup. I hope you enjoyed this review of Roberto Cavalli Gold Edition. If you did, don't forget, like it, maybe even subscribe for more fragrance content. I would love to have you on board and take you with me on my scent trail of discovering fragrances all around the world. Thanks for being here. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I will talk to you soon.